spoiler alert, we have a lot of feminine energy going on this week. Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a pick card reading on your next week. This is where you get to pick the card, the number, the object, and whatever is, your intuition tells you. I put you to work here. I get you to engage your intuition. And then I have the timestamps down below in the description. You click on your timestamp, you meet me at your reading, and then I use my intuition to read the cards for you. Many times I put out different decks for you to choose from. Today we're going to go with the same deck every reading. And like I said before, the spoiler alert is the messages start off with a very feminine vibe. So that's connection, love, intuition really, although nothing really too much into our intuition. Even though I feel like femininity is very connected to the Empress. Another spoiler alert, the Empress doesn't come out for them. So very specific readings for each of these options. Let me tell you what the objects are. So for group number 1, this object is rose quartz. For group number 2, this object is malachite. And for group number 3, this one is Bumblebee Jasper. If you are still not sure which group to choose, I'm going to do a breathing exercise. You're welcome to do that with me. We're just going to relax for a moment. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Release. We're going to release out any tension. We're going to set the intention that you will get the messages you need to receive for your next week. I'll go ahead and take another deep breath in and release. Go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the group for you. So thanks so much for being here with me. I so appreciate you and sending you lots of love, and I will see you at your reading. Hello group 1 and welcome to your reading. We have our lovely rose quartz tower here. Our number 1, usually rose quartz is related to romance, love, connection in that way. So let's see what else we have for you for messages. And we have 27, fertility. It's interesting that we have fertility because if you're watching this video, again, all my weekly videos are just about your next 5 to 7 days whenever you come across it. At the time that we're recording this and putting it up though, we're going into autumn, and fertility really kind of screams spring. It screams flowers. It screams new growth. So this is a time to kind of think about those things, whether it's something that you need to put into motion for the end of the year. What is it that you want to produce? What is it that you want to give birth to? What is it that you want to create? A lot of creative energy here. So think of those things, and it's like really either at this moment or getting ready for the big push in the spring. So even though this is just the weekly reading, the energy really has the potential for a lot of growth, actually. Ongoing growth, ongoing growth throughout, basically the next 6 months. It says the frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential of something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of one of ourselves. So you might want to think about that for a moment on how, well, we'll get some tarot cards, maybe we'll get a little bit more direction on that, but it might be a good time to pause and think about that, and where you want it to lead you. Put those intentions out there of what it is that you'd like to grow. What kind of opportunities do you want to come forth for you? with the Seven of Cups. And then we get the Ten of Swords, and we get the World, and we're going to get one more card here, Two of Cups. So I said something about romance here with the rose quartz, and it looks like that's a distinct possibility, and this growth that we're coming to. And I love both of these cards here together, the World and the Two of Cups. It's interesting that we have two figures on the World. Normally it's not. Normally it's just one person, but it really feels like you dancing into the sunset with another person here right now. It hasn't always been easy. You may have been bombarded by options. You may have had a lot of heartbreak here with the Ten of Swords. I love this deck. It's so fun because it talks about different folklore from around the world. So I'm going to address that right now. Like this first one here, Aladdin or Aladdin, as some people would pronounce it, from Persia. So the Seven Cups show Aladdin standing before a myriad of fantastical dreams. It is important for him to pursue them all, and it is important he makes his decision wisely and quickly. When we have the Seven of Cups appear, it seems like we kind of have these endless possibilities, and that is fun. That is fun to have possibilities. It's fun to daydream. It's fun to think about all the different things that you can do. I love it. But when there is that aspect here of a decision wisely and quickly. So don't get the temptation with the Seven of Cups is to get kind of caught up in all of these different things coming at you and never making a decision. I kind of see that, especially when we have the World and the Two of Cups here. You see those people who are perpetually single, and they always have like these great options, and they're always like, they fall immediately in love, but then they're on to the next thing as soon as like there's any type of little challenge. And that, of course, is not going to be like every decision we make isn't going to be perfect. No, but I know you probably, if you might be feeling this yourself, but I know it's so much easier to see it and recognize these things when we're talking about other people. You have that friend who is like, wow, you know, they say that they may, and maybe they are just caught up in the moment, and maybe they even say that they're happy. But overall, you can kind of tell, like, I don't know, you know, really are these things that you're disqualifying people for that big of a deal? Like, and you know, does it overall values, like the important things, are they there, but you didn't like the way that somebody chewed? You know, so it's important when we know that we're coming up against a lot of options that we understand ourselves, that we understand that wise part, that choosing wisely, that we understand, you know, we're going into it with, of course, you know, our heart and our head connected in the same process. Otherwise, we're going to run into this Ten of Swords situation where it represents backstabbing and betrayal. This is Sedna, S-E-D-N-A. So it's a myth out of Canada, in Inuit mythology. The Ten of Swords represents backstabbing and betrayal. Sedna's father pushes her from his kayak and chops off her fingers. Geez. When she tries to cling onto the boat, she sinks to the bottom of the ocean and becomes consumed with wrath, eternally seeking vengeance. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but sometimes it seems like, geez, that's pretty bloody looking at this right now. Sometimes it's like the people that we think should love us the most hurt us the most. And the one thing about the Ten of Swords, though, is it appears that the things are past us, that we've gotten past us. It's time for the healing to really begin. It's time to move forward from that healing. Otherwise we could end up feeling bitter and betrayed forever. But forever. Did I say forever? Forever is what I meant to say. So in this mythology, Sedna, like, she literally is at rock bottom. And there's nothing, like, there's room to grow, right? There's no place to go but up. So it feels like the Ten of Swords is not necessarily happening this week, especially with all of these other cards, but it certainly might be something that you're reflecting on. And that can sometimes, like when I was talking about that dating situation, it can sometimes keep us from where we really want to be, where we really want to go, but we just don't let other people in because we feel like, you know what, the last time I fell in love, my heart was broken. But that's not really fair to, you know, this new person. And the world talks about that cycle ending. The world is about cycles. It's about ending. And really fertility is part of that cycle as well. So we definitely have some cycles ending here. We have new things beginning. This is, I so slaughter these names and I'm so sorry. Hinamuna and Tanakia. It's Tutanekia. This is from New Zealand. And the world is happy ever after, ending following a difficult journey. So obviously this is very difficult over here. But, and like I said, I feel like that's a past thing, but you can't keep reliving the past. It's time, like what we were talked about with the fertility, about setting those intentions for the future. It's time to springboard and it's time to move forward. And definitely the world and the Two of Cups here talk about like a beautiful new beginning for you after all of this turmoil, this happily ever after a difficult journey. And these two represent a victorious conclusion, a positive outcome that is most desired. However, a conclusion also heralds the start of a new journey. And this new journey seems like it's one of love here when we've got the Two of Cups. So when I'm talking about love, and trust me, I barely ever, these weekly readings go into the realm of love unless I see the cards to really represent it. I know that there are readers who, like, every reading is about love. And I know that a lot of people really want every reading to be about love. Who doesn't? Because we want this. We want this Two of Cups. We want this this people, we want to dance off into the sunset. We want our partner to see us for who we truly and really are. We want that connection with other people. So this is from Iraq. This is Enkidu and Gilgamesh. The Two of Cups is an ideal relationship that still faces difficulties. Gilgamesh was a tyrant until Enkidu was created for him to be his equal in every way. Through their initial meeting, it was rocky. They came to love each other very much, and opposites who complete each other. This is a happy relationship. This is equality. This is partnership. This is an attractive relationship. This is seeing eye to eye, somebody who sees you for who you are. And this is that connection that we all want to have. So let's get I just want to get some charms here. We have the musical note. So don't forget to listen to some music here as inspiration. You are always on my heart, always. That's interesting. A lot of my charms that I have are actually very similar, and I leave them in here because I feel like it's just confirmation. Like I might have more than one owl or more than one bunny. When I see a dragon, it makes me feel like anything is possible. Dragonfly is luck. And look at all of the love here. No matter where, and I will. We've got this fairy here, this connection, deep connection. Again, like I said, I have more than one dragonfly, and that just confirms, things. That shows me that is very, a strong energy. We have N and S. So those might be initials for your person if you don't know them yet. Could be, I'm getting the idea that S might be Sagittarius. So it could be Sagittarius. Could mean that. I love the sun here. Very bright days ahead of you. Anchor. So anchor, I'm just looking at the cards. It's interesting that we have the Ten of Swords over here, and this story here was like that rock bottom. But I feel like the anchor usually comes in when we need to feel anchored in our energy, when things might be overwhelming sometimes, and it's just a reminder that we need that. We need to step away sometimes when things get overwhelmed. And I almost feel like the octopus can kind of feel overwhelming. Like we've got all of these arms or all of these things going on all around us. And the anchor reminds us to really calm and chill and do things that are grounding for us. And it really has an emotional component with that anchor. All of this love messages, so we've got a lot of love messages. Bunny, so fertility. For those of you who might be on an actual, on the nose fertility journey, this is like a positive omen, because I can kind of see that message coming through as well. For some of you, not for all of you. For those of you who are not trying to get pregnant or have a child, so just be careful this week, okay? But so some of you have that as part of your journey, and that's part of the celebration with your partner, your person. And then birds talk about information coming in, so new information, and just all of this lovely stuff, really bringing us out of this past heartbreak, and just a waft of beautiful energy coming in here for you. And I also have this cactus. So I almost feel like the cactus is kind of like the end of a dry spell. This is something, this is a saguaro from Arizona. These guys, they store that water. They're really kind of the trees of the desert, and I'm getting oasis. I'm hearing oasis here. So, and then did we talk about the owl? The owl is wisdom. So again, with that Seven of Cups, where we talked about making choices with wisdom, and almost the octopus too, where we've got all of those different ideas. I kind of feel like the octopus and the owl and this are really talk about kind of things can be overwhelming, but make your decisions, where I said that head and that heart need to be aligned. Make those decisions with wisdom. I think I covered all of them. So, and I feel like the music part here, that can help, ground you in difficult times. That can help move us. If you always have a difficult job to do, one that, is mundane and it has to be done, and it may not be the funnest thing to do, but playing music, I feel like really kind of carries us through things. But also, you might want to think about what your song is with your person, and what, makes you think of them and to feel loved. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. I hope that you have an amazing week. Let me know if any of this resonates, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2, and our Malachite, our beautiful green Malachite. and our number 2. And the card that comes out for you for the overall energy of next week, we have Gaia. So that's interesting because it is connected to green. I see Gaia and Malachite or green as very much connected, to the earth, to the physical plane, things that we can touch, taste, and feel, see, smell, that type of thing. So the frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother, and we're talking about Mother Earth Gaia here, and to the universe that birthed us all. And we see that connection with these interconnected circles. The blue, the green, of course, they represent the planet, and the white spots are supposed to indicate kind of that hidden and that unknown, because there's a lot of things that we just do not know. And I think it's important to remember to be open to new ideas, new truths, new things. And let's see. It's interesting how we have the 4 of Wands over here and the 7 of Coins. We've got the 5 of Swords, we've got Justice. The reason I said it was interesting is because it happened kind of in group 1 as well, where we have some kind of turmoil over here like we have in the 5 of Swords, but we kind of have a resolution and moving forward with some fun and some celebrations like we have in the 4 of Wands. So what's interesting about these particular cards and why I wanted to use them and why I think they're fun to use is that they're based on folklores and fairy tales. So we're going to talk about each of these fairy tales as we move through, because the creator of this deck did an amazing job of pairing the fairy tales with the card and the meaning. So 5 of Swords, as you can see, like even if you just look at the images here, this is not the happiest of positions or the happiest of cards, even though here we, get much happier or much more creative and maybe much more connected as we move forward. 5 of Swords can feel like we're disconnected, in fact. And this is Osiris, Set, and Isis is the mythology from out of Egypt. The 5 of Swords represents a fight won through deceit. A lot of times I call this like you win the fight, or you win the battle, but you lose the war. You might be battling with people who are in your family or that you work with. It kind of does remind me of like a lot of those passive aggressive kind of BS things that maybe started off with somebody having a bad day, and it kind of escalates with you doing kind of mean things with between people, and it's definitely a disconnection. Like Gaia would want us to be connected, but you know what happens for humans? We feel slighted, or somebody else feels like we slighted them, and then we're not working together as a cohesive team. Instead, we have like this competition going on. But back to Osiris, Set, and Isis. So Set overthrows his brother Osiris and is seen gloating over his brother's inconsolable wife Isis, while Set represents a tyrant of a victor. Isis is a defeated combatant who will eventually, geez, I can't even talk today, sorry about that, bring about Set's defeat. So even though Set kind of won this and he's gloating, eventually he will be defeated by Isis. So this is surrender, betrayal, bullying, violence, crime. Again, those petty little fights that we get in with each other, and maybe we even start them because we just don't really hurt people. So we may not have the compassion that we should have for others in that situation. It's interesting that we follow this up with Justice. Justice is a major arcana card. And in this situation, it seems like it's pretty just, right? Set overthrows his brother, and Isis is very much hurt, and eventually she's the one who becomes victorious. So if you have something in your situation where you feel like you feel slighted, I also feel like justice is kind of like, you know, giving it up to the universe. You're not necessarily what I was talking about with that office kind of politics, that back and forth kind of thing. It gets really petty, it gets really out of control. You feel like you need to exact your vengeance. And again, maybe you don't understand the full story, you don't understand that you really wasn't directed toward you, but it escalates out of control. Well, justice can step in when you give your concerns up to the universe. I love that justice has a sword. Justice usually does, because there is some information that comes in. That's what swords represent. Information, communication that needs to occur, maybe. Clarity. Clarity would be the better kind of term for this. So this is a legend out of Korea. And I am sorry, I'm terrible with these names. The Korean Omega Osa. So justice is power wielding with both intelligence and impartiality. It is making decisions with all of the facts and accepting the consequences of any choice made, right? Because you made a choice based on everything that you have available to you, and your eyes are open to those possibilities. It is punishment for the corrupt and promotion for the deserving. And it also comes into a reading when you kind of might feel hopeless, like Isis does. And you just are like, oh, it's nice to be able to release it to the universe. It's interesting that this is the Five of Swords too, because I was talking about this specific sword here in justice, like that clarity coming in. Sometimes communication, or sometimes with the Five of Swords, like we don't have the full information that we need. We don't have the clarity that we need. Sometimes with the Five of Swords, like we have like so many different perspectives that we just don't know what is really going on until we look at everything from that perspective. I also love Gaia here is kind of like I'm seeing, you know, the earth from space, like that higher perspective. Sometimes we need to lift ourselves out of the situation to really see what's going on. And it would be important to do that because we don't always want to be in a frame of mind where we're upset or angry. We really want to kind of move forward with happiness and joy, like we are here in this Four of Wands. So as justice comes in, as we look at things through a lens of a higher perspective, we have the Four of Wands. It's just a beautiful card. First of all, 4 is a number of stability, and stability is great, especially after we've come from a little bit of chaos here, like in the Five of Swords. Stability, you know, it's not necessarily a place we want to be in forever, because in full stability, you know, we're never growing, we're never changing, nothing, you know, things stay the same. But at this moment, we can really appreciate stability, especially when we've been through the ringer, we've been through like a major emotional setback. Wands is, and I love that we've got fire here, even though this is a coins card, because I'm just seeing a lot of, because Wands is a suit of creativity. Wands is a suit of action, like we get this clarity here, and then we act moving forward. First of all, we're going to act in appreciating and allowing in joy, like we do here with the Four of Wands. This Four of Wands sometimes represents a wedding. It can represent a wedding, it can represent a get-together. It's that connection. It's definitely that connection that we're looking for with Gaia. It's that love connection, that connection with other people. It can just be a meal that we share with others, a celebration of some kind, and celebrating others. So this is from a Sanskrit epic poem out of India. It's Mohini and Aravan. The Four of Wands represents rejoicing and festivities, a well-deserved celebration, and a stable time to be thankful, cherishing our loved ones. Mohini and Avavan embrace each other, enjoying the time before the next adventure begins. And like I said, with the wands, it talks about moving forward in action. And then the 7 of coins, even though this is coins, I love that we have this fire on here, and that we are ready for that action. But I do feel like sometimes we feel disconnected from other people, and that cool down, that grounding maybe that needs to occur before, and then getting that connection back, getting that clarity back, our reunion, our success, our pride, our happiness, our family. We want to connect with others before moving forward here, like with the 7 of coins. So traditionally, the 7 of coins talks about learning. It talks about new things. It talks about like maybe we're learning a skill for our job. But it's progress for sure. So this is in Aztec mythology, as you can tell with the people in the background. Nanhuatzin would be the myth out of Mexico. So the 7 of coins represents the desire for a good harvest. Though it might require sacrifice. So the Aztecs were, okay, we're not going to do that type of sacrifice of legend here, but Nazuhatzin was determined when it is right to be patient, and when it is better to scrap everything and start from scratch. So it doesn't necessarily talk about the sacrifice here. When we're talking about our harvest, though, our sacrifice would be, I kind of feel like this in particular in this reading might be sacrificing our ego, letting go of, when we see things from a different perspective, we're not just seeing things from our own point of view. Sometimes our ego takes a hit, but it needs to, for us to move forward and for us to find joy and love and that connection with other people. So I kind of feel like it's in this position, it's really kind of the sacrifice of our ego. In the 7 of coins, sometimes it talks about like that harvest. So it's that sacrifice, that work that we put in to create that time, that energy. Sometimes we are, we're watering the fields. Sometimes we're fertilizing it, that type of sacrifice. So I'm just going to get some, okay. We have a butterfly. We're just going to get some cards here. Pride. This is the American flag, and I kind of see that in pride of who you are and where you've come from, especially when we have Gaia here. This is wishes do come true. I love that. Dog is a symbol of fidelity, of friendship. I love that as well. We've got a dragonfly. Interesting, because our musical note, and I have a bunch of, obviously, look at all the musical note came out for group number 1 as well. So music can help carry us and move us in difficult times. Star, I also see the star in like the star card. When I'm seeing it from Gaia and I'm talking about higher perspective, it is, kind of really moving outside of our body a little bit and seeing things in that different way. We have another dog. So friendship and connection is really important. A lot of my charms are kind of duplicates, as you can see here. And I elected to, instead of just putting one in here, keep them in there, because I feel like it just magnifies that particular message here of that, and especially with Gaia, that connection to other people. A unicorn. Look at this. All of these are very much luck. And look at the unicorn. We get 2 unicorns. So it is about kind of like trusting and moving forward. expecting new and beautiful things to happen. Not being too crazy with it though. We've got the owl, which talks about wisdom. This one said, but look at this, wishes do come true. So look at how many signs we have with wishes come true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 charms really talking about that wishes come true. So believe in love. I love that with the 4 of Wands. It's like I said, the 4 of Wands, I mean, these people are dancing together, they're loving each other. So, I kind of see we could have a rift. We might have to sacrifice that ego. Z is interesting. Wow, how often do I get Z? Not very often. If you are somebody who's not currently in a relationship, Z might be an initial for, somebody that you were connected with, somebody that you need to forgive, somebody moving forward. So you guys tell me what Z might mean. I love our little cat on the moon here. Moon can talk about, if the cat sitting on our moon looking at the earth, so that imagery is coming through, which I spoke of when I was talking about taking things from a different perspective. But we do have 2 cats. And while I was talking about the dogs, I was like, where did I move my dogs? Being friends. The cats also is like, cuddly, but also, your independence is important as well. So I don't feel like you're necessarily getting lost, but when you do view things from another perspective, don't lose yourself in that. Like, of course, your autonomy is important, and maybe there are conversations that need to be had here about the way somebody treated you or what something happened. I feel like it's, though, not as bad as you think. I feel like there's an innocence behind it. And then we get a dolphin here with a ball. So don't forget to play. Don't forget that joy. There's a lot of joy and fun and play when you step outside your ego and forgive. Oh, and then finally, we get this like dinosaur. So I kind of feel like the dinosaur is in with this, like anything is possible, because I'm getting that image of Jurassic Park. Sometimes we make friends with dangerous things. That might be part of that sacrifice. So don't initially say no to things that you think might be difficult or hard. I think it's going to be easier than you think. Again, with this sacrifice in mind, like just because it might take some time to do. And I'm just getting that from the whole movie of Jurassic Park. They really created the impossible. So there's a lot of impossible here. I'm not saying you're creating dinosaurs, but I'm saying that you're creating a beautiful future that maybe you never thought was possible. But shifting and changing your perspective, now you're open and realizing and allowing the universe to open up and create beautiful things for you. So that's what I have, group 2. I hope that you have an amazing day. Thanks so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3, our beautiful Bumblebee Jasper, our number 3, and the first card that comes out here is we have the 21 Divine Feminine. So the number 21 could mean something to you as well. Divine Feminine, we have that kind of tension between the masculine and the feminine going on, and we have masculine and feminine elements inside all of us. So just because you're maybe a divine masculine or you don't identify as a divine feminine, whatever is, it doesn't mean that there aren't qualities for you to embrace for this next week. The frequency of the divine feminine supports our respective nurturing and soft side, allowing it to express openly and helping us to connect our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. So that's really beautiful. And the divine feminine is, you know, responsible for birthing all of creation. So sometimes the divine feminine is kind of expressed as kind of chaos. Ooh, the devil here, Page of Wands. But it, I think, is just really an overwhelming love for yourself, love for others. We get the devil here. I feel like it's a love for yourself. Interesting, the Wheel of Fortune as well. And one more card. Ooh, Page of Coins. So we've got kind of a new journey that's going on this week, or opening up of a new journey when we get the Page of Wands and the Page of Coins. Something that's inspiring, but also could be very profitable and practical, making practical moves. The Wheel of Fortune can talk about chaos, but I feel like, you know, and the devil also. So we've got like this egotistical kind of chaos involved, that when I say the Wheel of Fortune, I often, and then we got the pages here, I feel like you actually making moves and setting intentions to create your own luck. So that's what I am getting. These cards are amazing because they talk, they're related to different folk tales, different stories, sometimes even poems from around the world. And this particular devil is from Brazil. It looks like an anaconda, like on fire to me. Botana. The devil gives into his ego, lusting for unnecessary or maybe even harmful things, unwilling to leave negative situations. It is a dragon sitting on a pile of gold. It does not need a person setting a forest on fire for their own gain. So the devil is also very much about attachments. So that kind of like that dragon sitting on that pile of gold, like, what is a dragon going to do with a pile of gold? It could talk about hoarding. It can talk about maybe going to Starbucks every day. Those attachments. And where it becomes a problem is when it is harmful. And it may start off as not necessarily being harmful to yourself, but maybe it's harmful to other people. Eventually, though, it does become harmful to yourself. And I love the Divine Feminine here. It talks about self-love. So changing habits, changing things for your own benefit, for your own self. It's not only for your own benefit, but it's a benefit for those around you as well. Not necessarily in this reading. It looks really more of a quest of your own. It can talk about greed, controversy, violence, strange experiences, addictions, again, and most of us probably not watching my channel, you're probably not like a heroin addict or on methamphetamines, but there are certainly attachments that you might have that could be harming you. Especially when you're ready to make some changes, like we have with the Page of Wands and the Page of Coins. So you might stop and consider what it is that is blocking this beautiful future that we have for you. What is holding you back? I want to talk about the Wheel of Fortune next, I think. And then we'll move into the Minor Arcana cards. So the Wheel of Fortune, I said, is kind of a karma card. It's kind of a card about, I feel like you can make your own luck. And when I see it, I usually think this too shall pass, especially if you feel like you're in a dark space and you just don't see any way out of it. I really feel like you're breaking out of that dark space this week. This is Anasi from Ghana. It's in Akan mythology. So the Wheel of Fortune is endlessly turning. Because we have that ups and downs with that wheel. Spun by a trickster god. What was once luck is now misfortune. What was hopeless is now joyous. These acts seem random, but all fates are part of an interconnected web that we have here. So just remember that. Again, when I see this surrounded by the rest of these cards, when we're in our own ego, when we're in our own attachment, that's when I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is the wheel of misfortune. But when we see it surrounded by this Page of Wands and this Page of Coins, like pages are new movement forward, those new intentions that we're putting out there, that's when I see the Wheel of Fortune as part of our fortune, an unexpected windfall of karma, of destiny. And remember, even when we are putting out our best of intentions, we still have that things are subject to change. So the Wheel of Fortune is kind of writing out the bad and accelerating the good. We have the Page of Wands here. This is a mythology from the Congo. Mawindo is the figure depicted here, and the Page of Wands represents a childlike optimism and carefree rebellion. In this, we're kind of rebelling from yourself. We're rebelling from these attachments. Sorry, my camera shut off. So we are rebelling from these attachments, these things that we thought we need, but are really things that are holding us back from our dream life. I'm really seeing this like loving yourself enough to move forward with that dream life and to put that into action. From a window, every situation is made fun by a swish of his magical fly swatter. So that's what he's carrying here over his head. He makes many enemies, but just as many friends who help him through his journey. So he's got this playfulness, this charisma. I feel like pages are very playful, they're very joyful, and it's definitely a different energy from this devil. And it does kind of speak to this Wheel of Fortune here when he makes enemies, but he also makes friends. So not everybody's going to love us. That's part of how the world works. And everybody is there to kind of enhance that journey that he is on. So this playfulness, charisma, discovery, and this enthusiasm that we're bringing into this next week. The one thing with pages is they don't have necessarily the experience that for success, but they do have that desire, that raw kind of desire for it. They may make a lot of mistakes. So making enemies might be a mistake, but it's something that, what I really love about pages is they don't allow fear to hold them back. And I also feel like the devil here can represent kind of like that fear of failure. So then you never try. Well, then you just fail anyway. I know a lot of people who just don't apply for like their dream position or their dream job because they're afraid that they're going to fail. And instead it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that they don't even try. But these pages are out here trying. And the Page of Coins would say, yes, send that resume, do it. And the Page of Wands is like, yeah, so what? I don't have any experience in this field. I can take my experience from my last two jobs and kind of cobble them together and make a case for them, the right candidate for this particular job. So this is out of Sweden. This is a Sami deity. It's Bibi Navida. The Page of Coins welcomes the beginning of spring and summer, a fresh start to the end of the darkness. Bibi Navida represents a hope, setting up solid foundations and mental wellness. She is grounded and anticipates a bright future. So when we are, the Page of Wands is like, yes, go, 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 go. And the Page of Coins is like, yeah, I'm going to go, but I'm also going to set some goals. I am going to look for opportunities. I'm going to manifest that. I might start a spreadsheet because these two things together, I really feel like are great for each other. Like, don't get too far ahead of yourself. Let's keep going, of course. You know, I love this beautiful exuberance, but let's set these goals. Let's reach these goals. Let's add this positivity around ourselves so that we make sure we hit those milestones that we're looking for. And let's just take a little pinch of charms here. So interesting, we have C, S, and X. Okay. Yeah, what words come to mind when you see these letters? The O and Z. So that is a message for you. If you're looking for a particular person, these might be initials for that person, but let me know words wise. I know we're going to have some words with Z and X that might might have limited words, but we do have this arrow. When I see this arrow, it very much reminds me of, well, I mean, it's Cupid's arrow, really, with the love here. But, you know, the divine feminine is this love for yourself, but it's also kind of like, you know, hitting your target. So the goals that we were talking about with the Page of Coins, that direction, that kind of momentum of achieving your goals and keeping it going. Frog. So the frog here, very interesting, because frog really reminds me, very closely connected to butterfly in my opinion. I know one's an amphibian and one is an insect, but change. So change is on the way, and you know, roll with it, go with it. Squid here, interesting, we have a squid. I kind of, you know, when I think of a squid, I think of ink and writing your own future and writing your own destiny, and I think that's really important here with the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting, this guy here is on a spider web, and we didn't get a spider, but that's okay. And then we've got this star, but it's not just any star, it is a sea star, so a starfish. So this starfish, you know, what they're famous for is you can cut off a piece of them and it regrows. So there's growth, but there's also regrowth here. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. So I think that's very beautiful. And that is what I have for you, Group 3. I hope that you have an amazing day. Thanks so much for being here with me. And I love to see what kind of words you come up with that you think of when you see these letters, because, you know, let's engage your own intuition. And there's something I thought of when I first saw a couple of letters, but I will let this up to your own interpretation and how that fits in for you. So have a wonderful week. Again, thanks for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading.